guys, while using Prath, we are at times required to go for annotating, segmenting, and labeling. So that's a basic requirement to add text grid to whatever you recorded as your data, right? For better visibility and for also showing boundaries of the segments and also boundaries for the words and at times for the utterances, right? So in this lab, we are going to know how to add text grid to your recorded speech, right? And then how to create boundaries and then how to annotate and segment, right? So that's the requirement for acoustic analysis using Prath. The segmenting and labeling is particularly helpful for acoustic analysis because we need to add up text grid and label and annotate our recordings so that the spectrogram is not only fully explained, but the reader and the person, the expert who is supposed to go through the experiment, they are very much in picture and they know what's going on, right? So that's the requirement to just keep the track record of your measurement, right? That from which part of your recorded speech you have taken the measurement, right? So that's also another requirement. And then we can add up the annotating tiers, right? And putting up text grid, and then how to open your recorded speech along with your text grid. So that's a basic requirement, and we are required to know this while using Prath, right? And then we can also put the phonetic symbols which are by default available in Prath, right? So let's go to Prath. Okay, guys, we are to select the file to which we are to add the text grid. So the file is already selected. That's the one which is containing one word, and that's the word is Kamal. Okay, so I would click the annotate button, and within annotate button there are options: annotation tutorial, and then to text grid and text grid with silences. Okay, guys, so I would select the middle one, which is to text grid, right? So that's selected. Now there is another window open, and this is all tier names. Okay, so 3 tiers are available by default, but I would select only 2 tiers with me. One is like the segments, and the second is word. Okay, since I have only one word file, and which tier is point tier, so I'm deleting it because I'm not giving any point right now. So I'm just telling you the very basic level of segmenting. Okay, so by putting this button, right, so there is another text grid file open now. Okay, so I would select now both of the files, one in which the sound is there and the second in which the text grid is available. Okay, I would highlight both of them together by pressing the control button and clicking it. So both of the files are now active, they are highlighted, and I would go for view and edit. Okay, so this window would open. Okay, so above all, it's the waveform, the second layer is spectrogram, and the third one is the segment, the tier first. Okay, and the last one is the word tier. Okay, so where are we supposed to add segments? Now first we should know that where is the segment. So this is the first segment, which is K. Okay, you see it's the stop. If you remember, the stop correlates. Okay, so that's the K, and it's the okay, schwa sound. Okay, and it's the M, nasal sound, M. Okay, and then again it's a long vowel here. All right, so ma, all right, so it's from there to this, from here to this part. All right, so and now it's a L sound from here. All right, this is L. Okay. So we are to create boundaries. For boundary, I would go for the segment boundary. I would go here, right? And to mark this one boundary, it's K from here, right? So this is the K sound, and I would write it down here, the K. All right. So for writing, I would use this part. Okay. From here, I would write down. So I've written K, and it's there. All right. Then from here, I would use this schwa sound K, right? So it is here that I'm using it, right? And it is let's suppose, all right? So two segments are there now, and I would use now another segment, which is M, right? Okay, so it's the M segment. Okay, so M. Right. And then the A vowel, the long A vowel, okay. So it's from here, actually there is the overlapping between A and L. So I would mark it here, okay. Since L is also having the vowel-like formants, if you remember your acoustics sessions, right. So this is A. And here is the last sound, which is from here and till this part. All right. Right. So this is L. Okay, so this L is basically the dark L. If you just listen to this, you see, so it's not the complete L. That's why the formants are broken. L. See? Okay. So our segments are finalized now. K, K, M, A, and L. Right? And here are the boundaries for the word part. Okay. So it is starting from here and going to this part. All right. So to mark this boundary here. All right. And I would write down the name here. Okay. So this is the word. You see the tier word, and it's here. The word is Kamal. And then within Kamal, there are segments K, A, M, A, L. All right. So this was, segmenting and labeling, right? And we can also add the phonetic symbols by going from here from the help, and we can add phonetic symbols from here, okay? So that's a possibility, all right? That we can also use these symbols for our segmenting of these sounds, all right? And this was the way we would segment, right? And then also label and annotate. Okay, that's it.